Alright, let's cut right to the chase because what's going down in Cleveland is more twisted than a soap opera plot. You think you're just watching football. Think again, you're witnessing a full-blown psychological thriller play out in real time, and the Cleveland Browns front office is losing the script. We just got the biggest bombshell of the season, and it didn't come from some anonymous source or a leaked memo. No, it came straight from the horse's mouth. Browns offensive coordinator Tommy Rees just stepped in front of a microphone and in a moment of pure unadulterated panic might have accidentally exposed the entire conspiracy to sabotage the Shedeur Sanders era before it even begins. Forget everything you've heard. Forget the official team statements. Forget the carefully crafted PR nonsense. This ain't about sideline gossip or some fan theory cooked up in a basement. This is about a franchise so terrified of the star they drafted that they're willing to light their own season on fire just to control the narrative. Players are whispering, the locker room is buzzing with tension, and the fans are on the brink of a full-scale revolt. And right in the middle of this hurricane of chaos stands Tommy Rees, a man who just fumbled the entire secret quarterback plan right in front of the world. So what exactly did this man say that sent shockwaves through the entire league? Get your popcorn ready, lock your doors, and turn up the volume because what started as a simple, boring interview has just turned the Browns locker room into the hottest reality show on the planet. And the best part, the cameras aren't even needed. The drama is writing itself, and we've got a front row seat to the implosion. Welcome to Cleveland, the city of rock and roll and quarterback purgatory, where the franchise is now deep in their so-called "we're not hiding anything" era. Let's be brutally honest. Whenever a team, a politician, or your shady ex says, "we're not hiding anything," it's a flashing neon sign that they are in fact hiding absolutely everything. The evidence is piling up faster than laundry in a college dorm. First, the mysterious case of the vanishing practice footage. One minute, fans were being blessed with glorious high-definition clips of Shedeur Sanders dropping absolute dimes. We saw those clean spirals, the effortless swagger, the kind of rookie confidence that screams future of the franchise. He was moving with a fluidity that made the veterans look stiff, connecting with receivers on routes that seemed to bend space and time. The hype train had left the station, and it was a high-speed bullet train fueled by pure, unadulterated talent, and then poof, gone, vanished. The footage disappeared faster than free beer at a tailgate. All of Shedeur's clips were scrubbed, deleted, and locked away in some digital government vault deep beneath the stadium. Suddenly, all we're left with is dry, soulless press conference talk and a coaching staff mumbling about progress and process. It's classic Cleveland chaos. The only organization on earth that can make complete silence sound deafeningly suspicious. They've turned their own practice field into Area 51, and Shedeur Sanders is the alien they're desperately trying to convince us doesn't exist. But here's the thing they don't understand, the fatal flaw in their master plan. If you thought the Shedeur Sanders hype train was slowing down because you cut the video feed, you better think again. You cannot bury a story this big under a mountain of vague answers and behind closed doors. This isn't just hype anymore, it's a full-blown cultural movement. Shedeur doesn't need ESPN's top 10 to trend worldwide. The man could throw one perfect pass in a Walmart parking lot and Twitter or X or whatever we're calling it this week would explode into a billion digital pieces. The legend is already written, and Cleveland is about to find out the hard way that keeping a secret of this magnitude comes with a hefty price tag because the entire league is watching, waiting, and laughing. So, while the Browns are busy hoarding their highlight reels like their top secret Cold War evidence, you can bet Shedeur Sanders is somewhere else, probably chilling with his own camera crew, dropping absolute lasers, and creating content that reminds everyone why his name just won't stop trending. This dude doesn't need the team's stamp of approval. He's building his own spotlight, one perfect throw at a time. The hype, oh, it's not dying, my friends. It's mutating. It's gone underground. Real guerrilla-style warfare now. And every single time the Cleveland Browns try to silence the noise, they amplify it by a factor of 10, turning the whispers into a deafening roar. And standing awkwardly at the podium, caught in the blinding headlights of this self-inflicted PR disaster, is offensive coordinator Tommy Rees. This poor guy has somehow become the official mouthpiece for the Nothing to See Here Folks campaign. You can practically see the beads of sweat forming on his brow as he speaks. Every single word he utters sounds like it was pre-screened, focus grouped, and approved by a small army of lawyers and crisis management experts. He's so painfully careful, it's like he's afraid that blinking too hard might accidentally leak a state secret. Whether he's being asked about the designated starter, Dillon Gabriel, or trying to pirouette around the real question, the Shedeur question, Tommy keeps tossing out these perfectly polished, utterly meaningless phrases about steady progress and operational efficiency. It's a masterclass in saying absolutely nothing. We all know what that is. It's a corporate translation for the love of God, please stop asking me about Shedeur Sanders. The man is dodging quarterback questions like he's Neo in the Matrix, bending over backward to avoid the bullets of truth. It's wild to watch. You can almost hear the PR team whispering in his earpiece, "Stick to the script, Tommy. Remember the talking points, pivot to process." And oh, what a script it is. It's pure, unadulterated corporate poetry. He's out there describing Dillon Gabriel's timing, his rhythm, his composure with all the raw passion and enthusiasm of a robot reading a dishwasher manual. It's like listening to someone meticulously describe a gourmet sandwich without ever once admitting that there's any meat inside. He's talking about Gabriel's performance, saying he handled it well, a phrase so generic and sterile it feels like it was generated by an AI. This isn't praise, it's a defense mechanism. He's building a wall of buzzwords to hide behind, hoping nobody notices the giant, charismatic, diamond-studded elephant in the room named Shedeur. But see, that's the problem. You can't hide Shedeur. He's got that kind of magnetic energy that pulls cameras and eyeballs in like a black hole. He possesses the type of natural charisma you simply can't teach. The it factor that separates superstars from serviceable players. And the Browns, bless their chaotic hearts, clearly have no earthly clue what to do with it. Instead of harnessing that incredible energy and letting it shine, they're desperately trying to bottle it up, like trying to stuff a raging wildfire into a small Tupperware container. It's a desperate, panicked, and frankly hilarious strategy. That sudden blackout on all practice footage. Oh, that wasn't some random procedural decision. That was the Cleveland Browns organization collectively smashing the big red panic button in real time. They are terrified. Terrified that if the fans see too much, if they get a real unfiltered look at what Shedeur is doing day in and day out, the noise will become so overwhelmingly loud it will drown out everything else. Because here's the simple truth they're trying to hide. Once people see what Shedeur Sanders can consistently do on a football field, they are not going to shut up about it ever. But here's the kicker, the beautiful ironic twist in this whole saga. You can't unring that bell. We've already seen it. Once the world gets a glimpse of the next big thing, there's no deleting that curiosity from the collective consciousness. The hype doesn't die when you starve it of new footage. It regenerates, coming back stronger, louder, and 10 times pettier than before. Every single attempt by the Browns to silence it just adds more premium fuel to the fire. And now, thanks to Tommy Rees's little Freudian slip, his little oops moment where he accidentally confirmed that Shedeur has been improving at a shocking pace. The mystery is juicier and more irresistible than ever. He didn't mean to say it. You could tell he wanted to swallow the words as soon as they left his mouth. But he basically admitted what everyone in the building has been whispering about for weeks. Shedeur Sanders is leveling up way faster than the Browns ever expected, and they are completely, utterly unprepared for that kind of storm. Meanwhile, let's spare a thought for poor Dillon Gabriel, standing in the chaotic eye of this hurricane, looking like a substitute teacher who just walked into class on the last day of school and realized the kids have been running the place all year. Everyone is paying him lip service. The coaches are publicly backing him, but the contrast between him and Shedeur is so stark, so blindingly obvious that it's impossible to ignore. Shedeur is the blockbuster headline. Gabriel is the fine print at the bottom of the page, and Tommy Rees knows it. That's why every time he says a line like, he handled it well, it feels too polished, too rehearsed, dripping with a quiet, desperate panic. It's the kind of palpable tension you can feel right through the television screen during his interviews. It is the unnerving calm before Cleveland's next inevitable spectacular public meltdown. Rees was asked about the biggest areas for Gabriel to improve, and he launched into another masterclass of coach speak. He talked about comfort, rhythm, and getting on the same page with the offensive line. He said, "You just look to build the continuity with the rest of the group. I think every time he steps out there with those guys, you'll see that continue to improve." It sounds reasonable on the surface, but read between the lines. This is the language you use for a placeholder, not a franchise cornerstone. It's the talk you give for a guy you're hoping can just manage the game, not win it, because deep down, they already know how this story is destined to end. Dillon Gabriel might be getting the first team reps for now. He might be the guy they trot out to the media, but the longer the electrifying Shedeur Sanders waits in the shadows, the louder and more insistent those fan voices are going to roar. It's no longer a matter of if he will take over, it's a matter of when. The Browns can control the practice footage. They can lock the gates. They can cut every camera angle they want. But the one thing they cannot control is the internet. You really think Twitter is just going to sit there quietly while their favorite rookie sensation vanishes without a trace? Please. The internet lives and breathes for this exact kind of chaos. Right now, as we speak, fans are out here acting like digital detectives. They are making dramatic slow motion edits from 2 seconds of a grainy leaked sideline clip. They are looping tiny moments into full-blown highlight reels set to epic movie scores. They're writing their own scripts in comment sections, spinning elaborate theories on Reddit threads that make the JFK conspiracy look like child's play. That right there is the Shedeur effect. It doesn't fade, it multiplies. Every attempt to suppress him just sends the hype into an uncontrollable overdrive. And the funniest part of this whole circus is that the Browns' desperate, clumsy attempt to kill the buzz is actually the single biggest thing feeding it. By cutting off all official access, they've inadvertently turned every missing clip into a full-blown conspiracy theory. Fans are now acting like the Cleveland Browns are hiding the nuclear launch codes, not just quarterback practice reps. And honestly, with this franchise, who's to say they're not? You can hear the strain in Tommy Rees's voice every single time he's cornered about the quarterbacks. He hides behind these safe generic phrases like growth and development, which is just universal football code for we are not ready to admit what every single person with a pair of eyes already knows. There was a moment when it seemed inevitable when Joe Flacco was traded that Shedeur Sanders would automatically move up to the QB2 spot. It was logical. It made sense, but not so fast. We told you guys to pump the brakes on all that because this is the Cleveland Browns we're talking about. Nothing is ever logical. Head coach Kevin Stefanski, the supposed leader of this operation, came out and said he was waiting until later in the week to make a decision on who would be QB2. A decision between a generational talent like Shedeur Sanders and a guy who was until recently on the practice squad, Bailey Zapp. Let that sink in. This came right after insiders like Ian Rappaport reported that the Browns fully anticipate Shedeur starting for them at some point this season. So what's with the delay? What's with the games? This talk of development and growth stops sounding like a coherent strategy and starts sounding like raw, unfiltered fear. They aren't developing him. They're delaying him. They are stalling for time, hoping for a miracle that will make this problem go away. And poor Tommy Rees, bless his PR-trained soul, is the guy stuck at the podium trying to spin this delay tactic like it's all part of some grand, brilliant plan. You can practically hear the gears grinding in his head when he starts talking about balancing reps. That's not balance, Tommy. That's babysitting. It's the NFL equivalent of telling a thoroughbred racehorse to slow down and trot because the other horses are still learning how to tie their shoes. And guess what? When that horse is finally let loose and allowed to run, absolutely nobody is going to catch him. Then comes the part of the interview where Rees starts talking about their upcoming opponent, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and their defense. He calls them physical, aggressive, experienced. Sure, all of that is true, but let's be real and translate that from coach speak to English. That is just a coded message for we do not want our prize rookie quarterback catching that kind of smoke just yet. They are protecting Shedeur like he's a piece of classified government material. So what's the real plan here? It's painfully simple and brutally cynical. Let Dillon Gabriel take the hits. Let him be the human crash test dummy against the league's toughest defenses. Let him absorb the punishment while Shedeur is quietly being built into an unstoppable monster behind the curtain. It's a low-key genius strategy if you think about it. It's risk management disguised as player loyalty. But the fans, they aren't buying it for a single second. They've seen this exact same script play out way too many times in Cleveland. The Browns love juggling quarterbacks like it's a reality show casting call. One week, it's all about promise and potential. The next, it's a 5-alarm panic fire. So, while Tommy Rees stands there rambling about quarterback progressions and pass protections, the fans are already skipping ahead and talking about destiny. While he's meticulously breaking down ball placement, everyone else is breaking down the body language of every person on that sideline. You can feel the tension crackling in the air every time a reporter even dares to mention Shedeur's name in a press conference. It's like watching a high-stakes chess game where one side has already been cornered into checkmate but is still pretending they've got moves left to make. The Browns can't say too much, because if they admit just how unbelievably good Shedeur has looked in practice, the media will go absolutely nuclear and the pressure will become unbearable. But if they say too little, people start assuming that something even crazier and more sinister is going on behind the scenes. It's a perfect self-made lose-lose situation wrapped in a tight, uncomfortable press conference smile. And the Bailey Zappe situation is the smoking gun. This is the piece of evidence that blows the whole case wide open. The idea that Bailey Zappe, a guy who was just signed as a serviceable practice piece, is legitimately in the conversation to be the number 2 quarterback ahead of Shedeur Sanders is an insult to our collective intelligence. It's proof of what some of us have been saying from day one. Coach Kevin Stefanski, general manager Andrew Berry, and the offensive staff, including Tommy Rees, never truly wanted or trusted Shedeur Sanders in the first place. That's not hate. That is the cold, hard reality of the situation. This entire circus goes back to one man, owner Jimmy Haslam. Haslam saw Shedeur Sanders not as a franchise quarterback, but as a walking, talking marketing goldmine. He knew that bringing in the son of the legendary Deion Sanders would mean a massive boost in ticket sales, a tidal wave of jersey revenues, and a constant stream of national media attention for a team that has been perpetually stuck in mediocrity. Let's face it, the Browns organization has been a below average, barely functional operation for the better part of 4 decades, and it's only gotten worse under the Haslam family's ownership. The team keeps repeating the same tired line. Everyone's stepping up since Joe Flacco's exit, but that's not reassurance. That's a direct translation for nobody actually knows who's in charge right now, and we're all just trying to survive. Tommy Rees keeps tossing around these hollow phrases like a collective effort in the quarterback room, but we all know what that really means. It means controlled chaos. It means you have Dillon Gabriel, the calm, steady presence. You have Shedeur, the electric, charismatic superstar in waiting, and then you have the ghost of Deshaun Watson, the 9-figure quarterback who is probably sitting somewhere watching all of this unfold, realizing that the spotlight is slipping further and further away from him. Yet again, Cleveland is trying to juggle egos, multi-million-dollar reputations, and sky-high expectations all at the same time. But that kind of high-wire balancing act never ends pretty. The longer they delay the inevitable, that rookie quarterback they're trying to hide in the closet just keeps getting bigger, better, and harder to ignore. You cannot pack 3 massive personalities like that into one quarterback room without somebody eventually feeling the pressure and causing an explosion. The Browns might smile for the cameras, they might act like it's all harmony and brotherhood behind closed doors, but anyone with eyes can feel the silent, fierce competition buzzing just beneath the surface. Dillon Gabriel is out here clinging to that starting spot like it's his last lifeline. Shedeur is lurking in the background, calm, patient, but ready to strike at a moment's notice. And the coaches, they're pretending this is all about growth. Please, this ain't growth. This is tension management. The Browns are walking a razor-thin tightrope between patience and pure, unadulterated panic. And Tommy Rees is the poor guy wobbling in the middle with the balancing pole, desperately trying to keep the whole thing from crashing down into a fiery wreck. But here's the real question that nobody in the building wants to answer. If Shedeur is truly improving that fast, how long can they realistically keep him chained to the sideline before the entire locker room and the entire city explodes? It's almost poetic how predictable this franchise's special brand of chaos is. The Cleveland Browns have a signature move, a go-to play call. They create their own drama. They draft electric game-changing talent, then they bury it. They overthink it, and then they act completely shocked and bewildered when the truth eventually leaks out and blows up in their faces. But here's a newsflash for the front office. You can't hide legitimate star power, and Shedeur Sanders has it by the truckload. He's not some quiet long-term developmental project that you can stash on the bench for 2 years. He is a walking, breathing headline. He's the kind of player who turns a random Tuesday media day into a can't-miss cultural moment. Trying to hide that kind of raw charisma under a wet blanket of team focus is like trying to block out the sun with a paper napkin. It's a futile, ridiculous exercise. Let's be honest, the only reason anyone is talking about the Cleveland Browns on a national level this year is because of Shedeur Sanders. That's it. That's the only reason. Before he was drafted, this team wasn't getting any type of significant talk on the big sports shows. But ever since they signed Shedeur, they have been primetime television. And nobody is even talking about what the Browns are actually doing on the field. They're just talking about the quarterback battle, the drama, the mystery between him, Dillon Gabriel, and whoever the third quarterback happens to be that week. And now that they've traded Joe Flacco, you would think logically that Shedeur has to be QB2, right? Well, no, because as of right now, Kevin Stefanski still hasn't decided. It's absolutely ridiculous. Let's dig a little deeper into the psychology behind this complete media blackout. The Browns aren't just protecting a rookie, they're trying to protect their own sanity. This is a franchise that has been scarred by years and years of quarterback chaos, public scandal, and crushing disappointment. They are terrified of another circus rolling into town. But here's the fundamental thing they fail to grasp. This new generation of fans doesn't want mystery and secrecy. They want access. They crave the hype. They demand personality. They want transparency, all the things that the Cleveland Browns organization seems to be deathly allergic to. So every time a coach like Tommy Rees starts stuttering his way through another vague, non-committal explanation, the fans on social media just get louder, the internet gets bolder, and the secret gets harder and harder to keep. You can almost feel it building on the horizon, that massive storm of truth getting ready to blow the lid, clean off the Browns' so-called plan. When they get asked about Shedeur's readiness, their response is pure comedy disguised as football strategy. The Browns are literally fueling the exact fire of speculation that they are trying so desperately to put out. It's almost adorable in a sad please clap kind of way. They hype up Dillon Gabriel's composure and professionalism like that's supposed to magically make people forget about Shedeur's raw, undeniable swagger. That's like trying to swap out a 4th of July fireworks grand finale for a single lavender-scented candle. Nice try, but nobody is remotely impressed. And with every single passing week, this entire storyline tightens like a knot. This wasn't a football decision from the start. It was a business move orchestrated by an owner who saw dollar signs instead of down markers. And now the football guys are stuck with a player whose hype they can't control and whose talent they're afraid to unleash. Dillon Gabriel does just enough to stay in the picture. Shedeur stays just quiet enough to keep everyone wondering and wanting more. And Tommy Rees keeps juggling his interview questions like he's on the witness stand in a murder trial. The poor man is giving off major politician energy at this point, talking for 10 minutes straight without actually saying a single thing of substance. But here's the inescapable truth. There is no smooth, clean exit from this circus they've created, because eventually, Shedeur Sanders is going to force their hand. He is too talented, too magnetic, and too damn marketable to keep hidden away forever. The man is a walking, talking headline. You can delay him, but you absolutely cannot deny him. And when that moment finally hits, when the pressure becomes too much to bear, the Cleveland Browns are going to have to stand up and admit what the fans already figured out months ago. This is his team. They're just babysitting it for him. Until then, the Browns will keep preaching their hollow gospel of steady progress. They'll talk about chemistry, trust, and building continuity, as if those words still have any meaning in this chaotic context. But let's be perfectly clear, this isn't patience. This is procrastination in a team-issued hoodie. They are stretching those tired old buzzwords so far that they're about to snap.